Our society has countless images, ideas, and stereotypes about change agents, people who help an organization transform by improving business process and interpersonal interactions. Whether influencing fashion, business, art, entertainment, science, politics, or law, these change agents have and continue to positively impact today's society on so many levels. And today, we are proud to share the story of these business owners, coaches, innovators, and thought leaders from various industries who are eager to educate, inspire, and motivate you. This is Our Voices on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Welcome to Our Voices, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the owner and co-founder of Dressing Roommate, co-host of Woke and Free, and the lifestyle editor of Plus Model magazine. And this show is focused on highlighting the amazing work of powerful change agents who have a great message to share with the world. And today, I'm super excited to be speaking with Brian Freed. He's an inventor, consultant, and coach, licensing agent, speaker, author, and radio host. He's done a lot. Let me share his amazing bio with you. So he has his own portfolio of inventions that he's licensed and manufactured, as well as other inventors' products that he represents, which made it or are going into mass retailers, catalogs, online retailers, as seen on TV, home shopping channels, etc. And then there are many more that he continuously works on. He offers one-on-one consulting, representation as a licensing agent, liaison during the invention process with various vendors, and negotiates terms of various agreements on inventors' behalf. Corporations work with him and retain him as a consultant to help grow their companies, develop products, brainstorm concepts as an invention motivator. He's the founder and president of Long Island Inventors and Entrepreneurs Club through the Small Business Development Center, a division of the Small Business Administration, and he's authored a resource guide for inventors, and entrepreneurs called You and Your Big Ideas and Inventing Secrets Revealed, which is available at all bookstores. So without further ado, Brian, how are you?
Natasha, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you are such an incredible resource. I'm so excited to have you here to share your story. So right out of the gate, I'd love for you to share, how did you get into inventing? What made you want to become an inventor?
Well, it started off when I was a little kid, just thinking about it back in the day, where I just started to realize that I ripped my toys apart, and not in an aggressive way, but in a curious-full way, and just started to see how things work and how people are doing things. And as I became older, I got married and I saw how my wife was doing things, and then we had my daughter, and I got a chance to see all the toy baby products and everything else, and just continue to start seeing that there's things that are out there that could be done differently, or people to do things differently. And I just started to write all of them down and start to look at them from different perspective, not so much as me personally, but start to think about how other people would use them. And that's when I really started to get into the inventing business, I guess you could say, of my own, and just start to figure out what could work and how people would accept my product ideas out in the market.
Interesting. So just out of pure curiosity, there wasn't like a necessary product that you needed to build or anything like that, you would say?
You know what? It's interesting because it doesn't matter who you are, or like you could be a doctor, a lawyer, unemployed, a student, senior citizen. It doesn't matter who you are. It's like everybody's involved in different things in this world. And you just need to kind of like hone in on what people are doing and kind of be a people person watcher and watch what you're doing. And there's certain things that just strike that could be an opportunity for potential invention.
I love that. Okay. Now, given your extensive background in this space and all the great work that you do with others, what would you say is the secret to your success as an inventor, and also being able to help people who want to get down this path of being an inventor themselves?
Sure. You know what, Natasha, it's interesting because when you come up with an idea, and you may have come up with something before, I mean, now it's just important to be aware of it. But when you come up with something, there's so many people that get emotionally attached to their idea. And it's a business. When you're coming up with an idea, you're going to turn it into a business. So first you capture the idea, and then you start to figure out if it's something that you want to move forward with. But when you're making these decisions, and we can go through some of the steps of the invention process, but just being able to put your business cap on and say, you know what, is this something that I'm going to put my time, money, energy, effort into, and make some decisions if I'm going to move forward with it. So the secret that I have to my inventor experience is that I'm realistic. And there's so many people that when they come up with something, they go online and they want to search, and they search with their eyes closed. You want to search to find it, not search not to find it. So I'm very realistic with my ideas. I make sure that there is potential. There's enough of a difference that there with my idea compared to what's already existing. And I go through some of the steps to vet that and make sure that it is, instead of the emotional side where it's my baby. This could be the gazillion-dollar idea. This could change my life. I'm getting very attached and emotionally involved with my idea. But I say, nope, I'm not going that way. I need to separate it. And that's what I feel has brought me success, because it's not just me that's going to be coming up with that's going to be using my idea. I have to think about other people and how they're going to use it. And that's the best experience, is to come up with something, commercialize it, and to watch people buy it and use it for the same reason that you came up with it. It's amazing.
I love that. Okay, and that leads really perfectly to my next question, which is, I know there's a lot of steps involved, but if you were to do a big picture assessment for everyone listening right now, what does it really take to take your idea to market?
Do your research. Research is very, very important. And when I talked about even going online and trying to find the idea that you're thinking about, find it and compare it and get some professional opinion, either by a patent attorney or a patent agent, to take what you're finding and compare it to what's already existing and see if there is some opportunity for intellectual property protection of a patent, let's say. And those are the parts that you want to make sure that you're working on something that you have a shot at. Or if it's something that already exists and you want to put a good name to it, people have been successful with taking a product that's public domain and putting your name on it, or a new name, and being able to commercialize it and going into business. You buy it for $2, you sell it for $9, and you can go into business that way. So taking it to market requires the research, making a decision if you're going to license it or you're going to manufacture it. So licensing means basically finding a manufacturer that has distribution. So whether they manufacture themselves with their own factory or they outsource, distribution, whether they have their own sales reps or they outsource, and being able to rent the rights to your intellectual property, and you would be able to earn a royalty from what sells. Or if you want to manufacture it, now you're talking about a little bit more of product development, making sure that it's perfect, and tooling, and now you're going into production, shipping, warehousing, receiving. You're going into business. There's greater risk with going into your own business, and the reward is also much greater. But there's a lot of steps involved. On the other side of licensing, you're basically renting the rights to your intellectual property. You're making a smaller amount, but you may not necessarily have to quit your day job, and people have been very successful with licensing. There's many paths to take, and the steps along the way, just going through them and doing your due diligence could make you a successful inventor.
Perfect. You are listening to Our Voices on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse, and my guest today is Brian Freed, inventor, consultant, and coach, licensing agent, speaker, author, and radio host. So you mentioned a lot there, and then it kind of sparked for me as you were speaking the idea of so what is the golden egg for an inventor? Is it going to Shark Tank? Is licensing the best of both worlds? What should inventors really be aiming for or reaching for once they dabble and they have a product and they want to move forward?
You know, Natasha, when I spend time with an inventor, everybody is different. Not only their product, but they're different, and they have different financial situations, financial goals, different reasons for coming up with an idea. So I really brainstorm between the idea and what they want to do, and I get pretty personal with them. And it's a matter of just figuring out what's best for them and to take it to the next level.
Okay. So there's no one fit all kind of answer. You're saying it's really contingent on a couple of factors and really what works best for the inventor themselves then.
Yeah, if I'm limited on funds, either way, I always try to bootstrap it and try to find different solutions. So if you're coming up with something and it's similar to other ideas that already exist, then you can buy that and rip it apart or add to it and be able to make a prototype. Or you might have to do some product development where you have a 3D drawing done, CAD, and convert it into a prototype, and you can experiment there. But then you take those ideas and you figure out, again, if you want to go into licensing or to find a potential licensee to be able to add your product to their product line and be able to earn a royalty or to go into business for yourself.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Now, when it comes to mistakes, given your experience, I'm sure you have a lot to say on that. What would you say overall have been the biggest mistakes you see inventors making?
Well, that one part where I was saying to do the research and to be and do your due diligence. There's so many inventors, Natasha, that end up, they're all excited and they skip step one and they're at 7 and 8, 9 and 10. And all of a sudden it's like, I spent this and I did that and I did this and I've been working on this for all these years. And I go boop, 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 boop. And I put in their information, just like a description of what they come up with. And I show them on the web, and they start getting very upset. Not at me, just that they didn't realize that that's all it took to do that. So one major part is to do your due diligence, be realistic, take the emotional part out of the invention process, and be able to be real with what you're coming up with, and look at it from a perspective of the consumer and your consumer. I could tell you one other mistake that a lot of and you know what? It doesn't have to be mistakes. It's just lessons learned. So let's say you come up with this golf ball, and you tell me, Brian, I came up with the most unbelievable golf ball invention. Everybody in the world is going to want one. I'm going to make $1 billion with this idea. So let me ask you something. When you go into a golf course and you look around and you go, oh, my God, everybody plays golf here. This is amazing. Everybody's going to buy it. But when you step out of that zone and you go to a restaurant, you go to a mall, I ask you, do you golf? Right?
Yeah.
So there's very limited amount of people that golf. So I have my two hands kind of separated right now, distant from each other. So out of this much opportunity, how many people play golf? So now my hands are pretty close to each other. And then out of the people that play golf, how many people have different options of golf balls out there and may or may not even need your golf ball?
Gotcha.
So your window of opportunity is limited. But you started off by telling me that gazillion people are going to want this, which there could be a percentage. So now you have to make a decision. Is this something that I'm going to want to move forward with? Realistically, for licensing, it's limited. So you may want to make it yourself, but how much money are you going to make? So that part of it, just high expectations, especially when you haven't brought anything to market yet, just to kind of come back to terms and see what the opportunity is one part that I'm constantly just putting people into perspective of what the potential is. So there's options, sure. You could do it yourself. You could go on Shark Tank. You could do crowdfunding. There's variations and variables and results kind of looking ahead as to what those might reap. And that's what I end up doing is I kind of put people into perspective of what the opportunity is and what the outcome might be, just kind of thinking ahead from my experience.
Absolutely. You are listening to Our Voices. My name is Natasha Nurse. More with my guest, Brian Freed, inventor, consultant, and coach, licensing agent, speaker, author, and radio host. Next on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Yoda, what should I do with this Land Cruiser I don't drive anymore?
Donate. You
must. Yoda's right. Right now you can donate your vehicle to the National Federation of the Blind by calling 866-282-7327. That's 866-282-7327. Or if you know a blind person who needs help, please email nfb@nfb.org.
A tax deduction you will receive.
And it doesn't take the force to be charitable.
Welcome back to Our Voices on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse, and my guest today is Brian Freed, inventor, consultant, and coach, licensing agent, speaker, author, and radio host. So, Brian, I have so many questions, but we have to hit them all. It's so amazing. Okay, so I want to know a little bit about, given how much you're saying that the people are missing step number one of researching and really understanding what the market is out there. What would you say are the biggest tools that people should use? And hopefully it's more than just like google.com. But again, if that's what it is, please share. What are the tools that an inventor really needs to succeed?
Sure. Well, I could tell you that many people out there hear radio ads or TV ads and connect up with people that say that they might have spoken to somebody else. Look, no matter if it's invention or anything in life, it's always good to do your due diligence and get the right people to work with and references and ask questions. Just because you tell somebody your idea doesn't mean necessarily that you're committed or obligated to them. You can have them sign a non-disclosure agreement and just kind of put them on that you're not going to talk about your idea with anybody without your permission. So that's really important, number one. So best tools, non-disclosure agreement. I do have one on my website that I offer. It was from a government agency, so you're more than welcome to download that from my site. But a non-disclosure agreement, there's plenty ones online also. You can pull one and ask somebody to sign it and just keep a record of that they connected with you and you told that you revealed your idea to them. The other tool is a website called the obviously the United States Patent and Trademark Office. The website is uspto.gov. There you can see inventor tools and resources on there. You could search prior art, prior patents. There's inventor clubs listed on there in different areas. Obviously, we're talking to Nassau Community College, so you're on Long Island. I run the Long Island Inventors and Entrepreneurs Club. You can take a look at that website on liinventorsclub.com. And there's plenty of, there's a meeting once a month and it's free and it's through the Small Business Development Center. I also am just recently appointed the executive director of the United Inventors Association. There's 15,000 plus members. It's a non-for-profit 501c3. And it was a spinoff a long time ago of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. And basically on the UIA, actually the web address is uiausa.org. And there's videos, blogs, all kinds of information on there for you to be a part of and be a member. And it's free to join and be able to access tools and resources as well for inventors. So, and then I have my books, which are great resources, and it's all about you and your big idea, which is the first book, You and Your Big Ideas, and Inventing Secrets Revealed. So I try as much as I can to get the information out, to have groups and meetings and everything else to be able to help the inventor to get them to the next level.
Okay, absolutely. So since you did mention, I'd love for you to share your website so that people can access not only your book, but some of the resources that you mentioned.
Sure. My personal website is brianfreed.com. It's BRIAN, F as in Frank, RIED.com. And you know what, Natasha, I have to spell it out sometimes because sometimes people put in, they spell my first name BRAIN, and my last name is spelled FRIED, which is really fried, but it's Freed. So if they spell it wrong, then I'm brain fried. So don't spell it BRAIN.
Gotcha.
BRIAN.
Yes.
I have that website, and I also have my company website, which is inventorsmart.com, the way it's spelled.
Perfect.
The way it sounds.
Absolutely. Okay. So now it sounds like you're saying probably the biggest thing an inventor can do if they're listening right now is to not go alone with this process, to really reach out and join some clubs, join some organizations, really make sure, that they're doing what they need to do from a disclosure perspective of not giving away, their product, but at least connecting with others, you would say, right? That the power of collaboration is important?
Look, even with me, Natasha, I'm doing this today because I was in the same position as somebody who comes up with an idea today or tomorrow or next year, whatever it is. And I made mistakes and I learned lessons. I don't really call them mistakes. It's lessons learned. Mm-hmm. And if I can help to alleviate some of those lessons learned where you kind of follow the path and different options that you have, and not have to spend the money that I might have had to in the beginning, then that's the most important thing to me. And that's why I'm out there passing the message along. So it's a lot easier to have somebody like myself out there that can help you network with like-minded inventors at the inventors clubs, go to the right websites to be able to get information and help you read the right books. So you just, again, do your due diligence, find the right people, ask questions, don't be afraid. Don't get emotionally attached to it. Think of it as running a business, and you'll make better decisions.
Absolutely. And on your own journey and your own path as being an inventor, what would you say has been the biggest lesson that you've learned?
The biggest lesson I've learned is to just continue to come up with ideas and keep inventing, because products have life cycles out there, and sometimes things change in the market. Mm-hmm. And you could be doing really well, and all of a sudden it just slows down, and all of a sudden you have a pipeline of products and you come up with the next one. But that's just me. You can end up doing really well with one, and I've done well with several of my products, and I enjoy that. But I have the need for more. Like, I keep wanting. It's once you start and you know the way that it goes and the steps and the right people to work with and my team, and it's just something that's almost like a habit that's really turned into a business for me.
Absolutely. You are listening to Our Voices on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse, and my guest today is Brian Freed, inventor, consultant, and coach, licensing agent, speaker, author, and radio host. So, Brian, as we start to wrap this up, I do want to make sure I get to some rapid fire questions so that people can get to know you personally. But before we get there, I would love for you to share, what is next for you, either on the side of your company or our products that we should be looking out for. I'd love to hear the scoop.
Well, I have some products in the works, and I'm hoping that between my own inventions and other inventors' products, that we keep flooding the market with some new products out there. I mean, a couple as seen on TV products, a couple maybe back on QVC in retail. I mean, I'm very excited to see my products out in the shelves.
Perfect. Okay. And again, I'd love for you to share, if people are interested in maybe working with you as a consultant, what does that process look like for people, and then where do they go to find you and connect with you?
Well, Natasha, I could tell you that when I talk to people, I do the best I can. I give them some time just to figure out how I might be able to help them. And I was going to say, most of the time, not just because it's my emotional feeling, but it's based on fact. And I make them realize that their product is probably limited with potential and that they should move on to their next idea. So you might get that from me, and I don't want anybody to get mad at me, but I would rather that now, instead of spending all this money and time and effort and energy on all these other things, when you should just realize that it's kind of limited. And sometimes people get mad at me, and then they call back 5 minutes later or 5 months later and say, "You know what, Brian? Thank you. I didn't do anything with it. I'm glad I didn't, but I have the next one." And that's so let's talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I break a lot of people's hearts, and again, they're just so connected to what they came up with, and I respect that. But you're asking me to, and you want to know if you're going to make money, I'm going to tell you like it is. And I hope people can appreciate that. So get in touch with me, and we kind of just sift through that first. And then if it's something that we both feel that we should move forward with, then I'll help you through all the steps of what needs to get accomplished and paint the big picture of where it could end up going and leading you through or to. Whether it's, like we discussed, manufacturing or licensing.
Absolutely. And listen, I mean, I know that honesty is tough, but it's necessary. It's always the right policy. And at the end of the day, if someone is going to spend a lot of money on something that they shouldn't, I think that sounds like the right thing, right? You're doing what needs to be done. It's a messy job, but someone's got to do it. And I'm glad to hear that you're able to guide people down the right path. So now,
for sure.
Awesome. So for a couple of rapid fire questions, what would you say is the number one thing on your bucket list to do?
Number one thing is just get the message out to as many people as possible that if I can do it, you can do it. I'm nothing special. So I'm a firm believer in getting the message out and educating inventors and people. This is like my niche. I love this, and I'm passionate about it, and I want people to keep coming up with it. And it's so fun to see kids and adults and whoever just coming up with ideas and just rapid firing those type of things out to me.
Perfect. Okay. Number one favorite book.
Favorite book? I have a couple of them. Am I allowed to say my own?
Yeah, sure. If that's your favorite book, yeah.
Well, if I have both right now out, but if I say one, then I'm insulting my other baby. So okay. I don't know. I got my two books, but from a personal development type of outlook, I mean, I love Think and Grow Rich. I think that it has nothing to do with being rich. It's just your mind being rich and making decisions. And I love 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm very into discipline and organization and being able to be efficient with what I do. It's
Absolutely.
Kind of like a machine.
Absolutely. And then last question would be, what is something no one knows about you?
Uh-oh. If I told you, then they would know.
Yes, that's the juicy part.
I haven't really told it. Like, I'm a big soccer fan.
Oh, okay.
I played for many years, and I played in a 30 and over team and a 40 and over, and I tore my ACL 2 times.
Oh, wow.
So now I get the pleasure of watching my daughter play. She's at that age now where, she's older now, but she's playing in school sports and high school sports, and is hopefully in college. So that's my pleasure, is to see my daughter play the game that I've loved all these years.
That's awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're able to share your story on Our Voices.
Thank you, Natasha. I had a great time. And by the way, I'm a former Nassau Community College alumni.
Yay! We are super, super excited that you shared that to make sure everyone knows. And again, thank you, Brian Freed, for inventor, consultant, and coach, licensing agent, speaker, author, and radio host, for joining the show today. I definitely hope our audience found you both as informative and inspiring as I did. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the proud host of Our Voices here on 90.3 WHPC. Our show's creative director is Rudy J. Breedy. Visit nccradio.org. That's www.nccradio.org for more information. This will be available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. Our Voices is powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC.